Welcome to the deep dive. Today we are strapping in for, well, a pretty wild ride through the NBA's biggest storylines right now.
Oh, definitely.
We're talking immense pressure on superstars. We've got young talent just exploding onto the scene, and some, let's just say, desperate decisions being weighed by front offices.
Right. Our mission today is pretty straightforward. We're going to cut through all the noise, all the daily highlights to give you the context you actually need.
The real stories behind the box scores.
Exactly. We're unpacking everything from huge trade rumors, yes, including a really out there pursuit of Anthony Davis, to the crisis brewing in Milwaukee and a real strategic chess match in Utah.
I love that. It's not just about who's winning, it's about why they're winning or losing. And there's no better place to start than with the future. Okay, let's unpack this.
The Cooper Flagg game.
It has officially arrived, and it was. It was a moment.
It was a huge statement. We're talking about an 18-year-old scoring 35 points at a massive win against the Clippers. But the number itself, that's not even the most impressive part.
It's how he did it.
It's how he did it. He got all 35 of those points without hitting a single three-pointer. You have to go digging through the history books to find that kind of performance.
That puts him in some truly elite company, right? We're talking LeBron James territory for, scoring volume like that so early in a career.
For sure. But it wasn't just the points, it was the mentality. Sources analyzing that game really highlighted a critical shift in his whole approach.
What do you mean?
Well, the knock on him before, and it wasn't about talent, was that he was a bit Alex Smith-esque.
A game manager. So always making the right play, the safe play, but not.
Not taking over. Okay. Exactly. He was cautious. And in that Clippers game, he came out from the jump acting like the number one option. He was demanding the ball, demanding the attention.
You could just see it. That poster dunk on Zubac.
Oh, incredible.
He drives left, fades left, and just throws down this massive two-handed slam. That's not a safe play. That's a statement of intent.
But for me, the most telling part was the skill, the subtlety, the bucket he got against Kawhi Leonard.
The fadeaway.
Yeah, the fadeaway pump fake. The footwork was just impeccable. And then when the game was on the line, fourth quarter, he steps up and hits 8 of 9 free throws. That's a closer.
So if he's suddenly this hyper-aggressive, smart, elite defender, what's the new ceiling? What's the comparison everyone's making?
Well, it's funny you mentioned he was playing against Kawhi, because that's it. The consensus has totally shifted to Kawhi Leonard.
Wow.
And that's about the highest praise you can give a two-way wing.
Yeah.
The comp is specific, though. It's because he can get to his mid-range spots at will, just like Kawhi.
Right.
He processes the game like a point guard in clutch moments, but he isn't, running the offense for 48 minutes. It's all about making the right winning decision over just making the flashy play.
A true two-way engine, focused on winning, not the highlight reel.
Exactly. And that shift in aggression is what separates a really good player from a true franchise-altering superstar.
Okay, and this is where it gets really interesting. Because if the kids are generating all this excitement, some of the veteran megastars are feeling some serious heat.
A different kind of pressure.
Let's talk about Milwaukee. The crisis, I think we can call it that, around Giannis Antetokounmpo.
Yeah, the pressure there has been just ratcheting up. They finally snapped that ugly 7-game losing streak.
Against the Nets, yeah.
But that win felt more like a temporary fix, not a real solution. And it only happened after Giannis basically called out the entire team publicly after they lost to the Knicks.
And his comments were so sharp. He went right at the team's mentality. He said, and I'm quoting, "Nobody should have a personal agenda. Worry about only winning a winning mentality."
You almost never hear a star of his caliber say that to the media.
It tells you things are really not right behind the scenes.
It completely does. And the stats back it up. They're only 8-7 when he plays. And during that losing streak, they were a bottom 10 team in offense, defense, and net rating, just getting outplayed.
And for anyone who doesn't live and breathe the analytics, that net rating stat being bottom 10, what does that really tell you?
It's simple, really. It just means you're getting beaten badly. It's not just close losses. You're consistently getting outscored over the course of a game. For a team with a player like Giannis, that is just, it's unacceptable.
And they're outside the play-in tournament right now.
Right. So this raises the stakes internally, like through the roof. The word coming out of Milwaukee is that the organization feels they're 2 to 3 guys short.
Short of a title contender.
Right. And what's fascinating and a little scary for them is that management is reportedly terrified that if they don't make moves, if they don't show Giannis, they're all in on winning right now.
And I'll ask him.
He'll request a trade. They are operating from a position of fear, which means they have to be aggressive. They need guys who can create offense when Giannis sits.
Which is why we're hearing a name like DeMar DeRozan pop up, and why he might be a better fit than, say, Zach LaVine, who was rumored earlier.
It's about the style of play. LaVine needs the ball. He has a high usage rate. DeRozan is this incredibly efficient, low-usage scorer.
He can just get you a bucket.
He can get you a bucket without disrupting the entire offense.
Yeah.
He's a perfect guy to run things for 5 minutes while Giannis gets a breather.
Yeah.
He fits, whereas LaVine's style might clash.
And that desperation, that need to make a move, it's not just in Milwaukee. That brings us to our weekend losers, teams that are really feeling the pressure.
Yeah, the analysis points to a few teams. First, the Cavs.
Right.
Lost twice, got blown out by the Celtics. They just, quote, do not look right. Nobody can quite figure out what their identity is.
Okay, who else?
And then the Clippers. Sitting at a pretty brutal 5-15 record, the roster is described as ancient.
Ouch. But there's a strategic reason they're in such a tough spot, right? It's about a draft pick.
It's all about that 2026 first-rounder that they owe to Oklahoma City. It means they have zero incentive to lose, zero incentive to tank. So they're stuck. They have to try and win now, which makes them prime candidates to swing some huge, risky trade.
Speaking of desperation, and frankly, a total lack of direction, we have to talk about the Chicago Bulls.
Uh-oh.
I mean, I'm disappointed. They start the season 6-1, looking great. Now they're 9-10. They've lost 7 of their last 10. It just feels like the same old story.
The treadmill of mediocrity.
Exactly. This is an organization that seems perfectly happy to be the 9th or 10th seed just to get that little bit of playoff revenue without ever actually building a real contender.
But maybe that's changing, because the internal discussions happening there are something else. Reports are they've been seriously talking about trading for Anthony Davis.
Wait, what? Anthony Davis, he's 32, he's always hurt. Why him?
The logic, from their perspective, is very specific. They believe he's the one guy who could solve their biggest problem. Their porous rim protection and defensive interior.
So it's a defense-first move.
It is. But the idea of them actually doing this,
Yeah.
it just fills me with this sense of dread. You're giving up what's left of your future for a player you can't guarantee will even be on the floor.
And one source already threw cold water on it, right? Cautioning against chasing ex-megastar just for the sake of making a splash.
Absolutely. The concerns are huge. The injury history, like you said. He's already missed time this year with a calf strain.
And does adding AD even make them a contender? I mean, really?
Well, the report suggests it only works if their young guys like Montes Puzelis and Josh Giddey make these enormous leaps forward, like right now. And that's a massive gamble.
So what can they even offer?
Well, they have the contracts to make the salaries match.
Yeah.
Nikola Vucevic and Kevin Huerter's $18 million deal, those are expiring. But because they won't trade their young core, they'd have to give up a ton of future draft picks.
Which brings us to a key date on the calendar, December 15th. For anyone listening, why is that date so important here?
That's the day the trade market really opens up. Most of the players who signed contracts over the summer, hundreds of them, become eligible to be traded. It just expands the possibilities for everyone.
So the desperate question for the Bulls is, can they win enough games between now and then to convince themselves they're still buyers? Or do they finally face reality and become sellers?
It's their moment of truth. December will tell us everything.
Okay, let's pivot from that mess to a completely different kind of rebuild out in Utah. It's all about Lauri Markkanen.
Who is having an incredible season. I mean, 28.5 points, over 6 rebounds a game.
And the reporting suggests the Jazz are increasingly convinced they want to build around him, add to that core, not trade him.
And on the surface, of course, you want to keep a guy playing at an all-NBA level. But the strategy here, for you listening, is it's a real paradox.
A paradox how? The better he plays, the worse it is for them.
In a way, yes. It's about the timeline. Markkanen is 28. By the time their other young guys are actually ready to compete, he might be on the other side of his prime.
But there's a more immediate problem, a much bigger one. It's that draft pick again.
The nightmare scenario. They're currently projected to have the 9th pick. If they finish the season with a pick that's worse than 8th overall, that pick goes straight to the Oklahoma City Thunder. It's gone.
So they have an incentive to lose. They actually need to lose more games to make sure they keep that vital draft pick for their rebuild.
Exactly. And the easiest way to start losing more games is to trade your best player.
So every time Markkanen goes off for 30 points and wins them a game, the front office is probably just cringing. It's a bizarre situation.
It's a total tightrope walk, and it's why a lot of people think all this talk about keeping him, building around him, it's probably just posturing.
Trying to drive up the price.
Of course, it's a classic move. You make it seem like you love him, that you'd never trade him, so that when you do, you get absolute top dollar in return. It's the long game.
Well, that just about brings us to the end of this deep dive. We've covered the rise of Cooper Flagg, the absolute crisis in Milwaukee, the desperation in Chicago, and the high-stakes rebuild in Utah.
It really feels like the league is defined by movement and pressure right now. And all these decisions, whether they're driven by fear or strategy, are going to shape these teams for years to come.
So here's a final thought for you to chew on. Considering the massive cost and the very real injury history of Anthony Davis, is the only thing worse than trading for him if you're the Bulls? Not trading for him and just staying stuck in the middle forever. Something to think about. Thank you for listening. Please comment, and like, subscribe if you're on YouTube. Spotify, please leave 5-star review. It will help the channel grow. Until next time, please check our previous episodes.